Hey guys, welcome to my first video for Savage Lion Leadership. So happy, excited just to get this thing up and going. So yeah, we're gonna go right into my first topic. So my first topic is servant leadership. This is actually gonna be the part one of my video. I'm gonna have a part two coming up next after this. So let's get into this, man. So servant leadership. Well, let's break down leadership in and of itself. What is leadership? A quick, small description of that usually applies to having influence. So pretty much everybody has influence, one way or another. So in other words, we're all leaders. You can be a leader at work, at your colleagues, at school, wherever you are. Just know that you are a leader and you are influencing people. And that's why this is so essential, that we, one, have that awareness that we are leaders. You don't necessarily need to have a title or position. You're already leading. So just know that. When you're doing it with that awareness, knowing that you are influencing other people, and you're doing it with excellence, you're going to give that, you're essentially giving that to other people, the people around you. You're making everyone else better. When you're better, everyone else is better. I find it that most often than not, we can basically struggle in leading the right way, either consciously or subconsciously, in having a role or a position, and sometimes even without knowing, leading incorrectly. What do I mean about that? Well, a lot of times, having that position, you can fall into that trap of being about self, giving orders, having control, and that is a self-directing way of leading versus others' direction of leading. Having your focus on the ones that you have that privilege, that honor of leading, and focusing on them, and not focusing essentially what they're doing, but how they're doing. Your focus is, are they doing well? Are they okay? Are they able to grow? Or are they just getting a task done? So this is so important, and man, let's dive into this. First thing, let's break this thing down. Servant leadership. Great example we can find, the man himself, the legend, Jesus. He speaks in Matthew 23:11, where he says, "The greatest among you will be your servant." I love the fact that he just always constantly flips things upside down, the way that the world sees versus the way God sees things. And actually, the word servant, translated in Greek, is the word diakonos. Now, the word diakonos, in its translation, actually means a table waiter. Someone that is giving of themselves and pretty much in a stance of humbleness, and a posture of humbleness, and in a serving position as well. So it's this whole combination. I just love the fact that when we really start to break things down, we can get a clearer view of what are the things that are being meant, the deeper meanings. So just this in and of itself, of the word diakonos being the translation for servant, and that picture of a table waiter serving other people, what that position actually looks like, what that is a great illustration of. And that's basically what Jesus is saying of this is what greatness looks like. Like, if you want to be great, if you want to be a great leader, you got to be a servant. There's no other way about it. I love another quick example is Jesus himself. So that was him just giving an example. Now we're going to go into Jesus himself, the man himself, showing physically to those that he's most closest with of, hey, this is what it really looks like. We're going to the Last Supper. We're going to where Jesus is basically wrapping a towel around himself, getting down on his knees and washing feet. Like getting at the lowest position and saying, this is what being the greatest looks like. This is what a true servant leader looks like. And I want to give that physical view, physical illustration about that. I just love the fact that Jesus gives all these examples just to even that much more reassure us of what servant leadership looks like, and just even positionally, like taking that low position, because the only other position after that is to rise up. Like you're getting yourself low in serving and being that much more connected, that much more intimate, and the only other position after that is rising up. You're not only yourself rising up, but the people that you're being able to serve are being raised up. And that's why it's so important to have the right heart position, the right heart posture. If you have the wrong one, you're only going to be leading followers. You're not going to be leading other leaders. You're not going to be raising up other leaders. But with the right heart posture, you're going to be creating other leaders. You're going to be developing them. The process is going to keep going versus creating followers, creating a crowd, and it all ends there. There's no consistent cycle. Everything just ends. That's why such the emphasis of the heart posture. Having the right heart behind the leading is so important. Man, how many different examples of, even at the workplace, a boss or someone above you, for example, leading from the wrong heart. It doesn't give much passion. It doesn't give that much drive to keep moving forward versus someone that does lead well. And we're even talking the workplace. I've had both experiences. I had bosses that led well, and others not so much. And that difference of, man, I want to develop this person versus just do what I'm telling you, and man, kills everything. Like kills the passion, kills the want to keep producing. That's why it's so important that we really raise this awareness and just develop that. Like, let's keep growing in the right direction. Alright, so I just want to end this episode with a quote from one of my top influences, and that's Banny Liebscher from Jesus Culture, from his Rooted book. And it goes like this. If our serving never really requires us to sacrifice for something bigger than ourselves, then it's likely that our serving is about us. Our serving needs to be about Christ and His body, and the safest way to make sure that we're not living for ourselves is to make sure that an element of sacrifice is somewhere in our serving. Man, this is so good, and just a reaffirming of what servant leadership looks like and how we can begin to walk in that. So I just want to wrap up with that quote. Love him. I have a lot of the other influencers that I'm going to start mentioning throughout my videos. I also want to just thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are awesome. And just give you a heads up on what's to come. This is just part 1. I'm going to have a part 2. I'm going to be bringing in one of my Gage John from Christ Tabernacle. He's one of my close friends. I love him. He was one of my leaders there. We're going to just be real and talk about our own experiences when it comes to serving and leading. And yeah, man, I'm so excited for that. Just stay tuned. It's going to come up soon. And leave comments. Like, let's do this. And man, I'm so excited. Can't wait for everything that's going to happen. And also hit the subscribe button and